This ANZAC Day, First Nations TV remembers the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander men and women who served, who fought, and those who died.
In the first part of the war, there were a number of Aboriginal soldiers who tried to enlist, but were told that they weren't of sufficient British heritage, so they were discouraged or just had their papers marked that not to be enlisted. And it wasn't until later in the war, 1916, 17, when the casualties were just that high that a lot of those restrictions were taken away, and more Aboriginal soldiers enlisted, and over 1,500 Aboriginal soldiers ended up serving in World War I. My granddad, Michael Flick, or Mick Flick, from Collarenebri, he went to serve. He either walked 180 k's or rode a horse 180 k's. We really didn't find out how far and by what means of transport that he got to enlist in Narrabri in 1916. And we're also not sure of the reasons why Mick did go and enlist. Was it because he wanted to have a better life than the one he had on the property he was working? Did he go because other Koreas, other Aboriginal mates decided that they were going to go off and fight this, basically to them, I guess, this unknown army over there, and whereabouts the Western Front was? I think it would have been all foreign to them. But for whatever reason, he went, enlisted, served in World War I. He was wounded, got wounded in the right-hand side of his chest, and also suffered the effect of mustard gas. Mick was with the 29th Battalion, and in 1917 they were in a major battle at Polygon Wood, and in August and September in 1918 there was a bit more of a push towards Amiens, and they were a part of that. During his time where he was wounded, he was transported to England and spent time at Sutton Veny Hospital and the isolation hospital out near Salisbury in the southwest of England. These Aboriginal men who went across there and fought, they served in the trenches alongside their non-Aboriginal friends. They got wounded the same, they cared for each other the same, they buried each other the same. Unfortunately for people like my pop and other Aboriginal soldiers, when they came back after the war, they were treated completely different by both the different government agencies and also, unfortunately, in some of the small country towns where they went back to. I think, and I always look back on how my pop saw things, and he wanted everything to be fair. You know, it was good enough for him to go and fight for Australia, but not good enough to be an Australian. I think he would have been just totally disappointed and basically would have said, well, what the hell did I go for? And to see some of his mates who probably still lie on those battlefields over there, and to be treated the way he was when he got back. We can keep going on about that year after year, but I've learned now to forgive those that have made some of those racist policies in the past, some of the small country towns, some of their attitudes, but I'll certainly not forget them.
And how do you feel about your pop actually serving for the country?
Really proud that not only my pop, but the many Aboriginal soldiers who went across and fought, and the non-Aboriginal soldiers, and how they fought and died for our freedom and what we've got today. But with my pop, especially proud, and this year on ANZAC Day I'll be proudly wearing replica medals of his, and I'm also taking back his compass, which he had, and so long after, I'll have that on the Western Front with me, and I'm sure that'll lead me in the right directions and lead me back home after. I was asked the other day, what would I do if I was standing in front of my pop now? I think the first thing I said that I would say is thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for us. And the other thing I'd say is I'm sorry about how you were treated when you came home. I'm sorry about all the stuff you had to put up with. But thank you very much for giving us the freedom that we have today, and I'm sure, like a lot of people, we will never forget the ANZACs.
To find out about your own relatives who served during the war, visit the National Archives of Australia website at naa.gov.au.
Commemorating ANZAC Day. First Nations TV. Lest we forget.